Publix Plaza.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we're the ones who've encouraged you all along to like and share them on your favorite social media and with all your friends and neighbors, because it's time for the Science of Caring, Careology, with your host, the one and only Roxy Brown.
Good morning, everyone that is in the sound of my voice on social media. This is Roxy, and happy Monday. This is the last Monday of the month, right, Cliff?
Wow,
Yeah,
I can't. It went by so
this
fast.
2024 has come, and we are at the end of the first quarter, which to me lets you know that this year is going to fly by really quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So people who are just sitting down on their hands, under their butt, not doing anything and talking about, I have time. No, you do not. Get up, people, get up, do something with your life. We talk about being grateful and having gratitude. I am grateful for waking up this morning in less pain in my hand. And a lot of people didn't wake up this morning, so I am grateful for that. And I'm just grateful for my family, my friends, because I love life. And I turned on my computer this morning, and the first thing I saw was some really disturbing news. And Cliff knows that one of the things that we first talked about, we've been doing this show, what, 4 years now, Cliff?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when we started our show at 6 p.m. 4 years ago, one of the first shows we did was on mental illness. We started this show in the middle of the pandemic. And, I want to put it out there again. If you are in need of help, if you are suffering, I know that during the holiday times, during family times, get together times, some people are alone and they do not have the resources. They don't have a friend to call. They don't have family. 988 is a national number. If you are suffering right now, and I want to say that I'm not going to go into the story because the story's done. The young lady's no longer with us at 17 years old. But if you are suffering, please dial 988 anytime. You can text, you can call, you can video chat. There's so many ways that you can get help. We want to put it out there. Young people, old people. It's not, people don't understand. It used to be young, middle-aged people. It's older people now. They're suffering, they're in pain. Their young people can't handle the social media, what's going on different platforms. People in general are just suffering from losing their home. Just so many things are going on. So please, 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 if you are suffering and you need help, 988. It is very crucial that you call this number to know you are not alone. I really wanted to put that out there this morning. And it's nationwide. So it doesn't matter what state. If you're out of the United States, that is our number. In your country, you would have a number. But in the United States, anywhere within the United States, you can dial 988. This number is nationwide. If you are alone, if you're contemplating, if you had thoughts, please do call. I think it's imperative that we set it. We've gone through the holidays. We have other holidays coming up. We have different things coming up. And some people just feel ostracized. So we want you to know that you're not alone. I felt that I had to say that. So let me start. My name is Roxy. I am your host here on Careology, and we are here every Monday at 10:05. And it is such a privilege to just bring you different aspects of what's going on in the community. And I just wanted to let you know, we start off with a little bit of information about Care Bag. We're a nonprofit on the Treasure Coast. January 17th, we turn 7 years old, and we do one thing and one thing only. Our mission is to provide dignity through proper hygiene. We do this through our mobile shower units and our mobile hygiene pantry. Our mobile shower units cover the Treasure Coast down to Palm Beach. Our mobile hygiene pantry covers the Treasure Coast. We are in different locations at different times. Our website is going to go ahead and show that this week because we are getting an overhaul on our website. So you can go to givecarebag.com. It will take you to our website, and you can see different things that we have coming up. This Saturday, on the 30th, from 12 to 4, we are having our high tea at the garden. It's a fundraiser. not a fundraiser, it is a friend raiser. We get together with men and women that love Care Bag, love our mission, to go ahead and find out a little bit more about us. We go a little in depth because not everything I post, I believe if you are going through something, if something is going on, it does not have to be on social media. So a lot of things that we do for families are not on social media. They will be able to meet some of our families. They'll be able to go ahead and hear different things that we do. And we have a special guest. Tickets are just $50 if you'd like to come. It's going to be a gorgeous meal, and it is going to be at the beautiful Treasure Coast Lexus right here off US 1. You can go to our website to see that. And May 7th, if you want a really good meal by any one of our 10 well, I'm going to say 9 celebrity chefs. I'm a chef this year. I don't consider myself a celebrity. So we have 9 celebrity chefs May 7th, and it's going to be at Fujiyama and Stewart. Our color is yellow. The theme we always do, Taste the Rainbow, and it's the yellow edition. I'm really excited about that because that's a really fun evening. You get to see us who have hair, let our hair down, and just have a really, really good time. And then we're back to business August 11th. August 11th, we have our back to school event that is happening, and we're trying to do to the first 200 book bags. Last year, we had over 670 kids, and it was just amazing. I couldn't believe that we got everyone done. A lot of our barbers ended up sick. Some went out. The lot got sick, and we had 4 or 5 that couldn't show up. But we got it done. The last kid said he waited, and he had a spanking new haircut. It looked amazing, and we want to go ahead and bless those children again. So it is again at Mid Florida Event Center, Sunday, August 11th, and our first 200 kids get free book bags, and we always have extra school supplies, and we're doing this on every 2-hour rotation. So if you'd like to get on board, you'd like to go ahead and be a sponsor to this, 100% of everything we get goes back to our back to school. Our leftover funds we had last year, we bought bikes. We had 8 bikes that we gave away to kids, and they just loved it. It's all for the kids. It's gift cards and books for the teachers that come by when we have any left over. So it is a community base at the Mid Florida Event Center. And you know what? Care Bag is doing good. We're in the community. We're doing what we have to do. And we're just proud of what we're doing. And we couldn't do this without the community. And talking about the community, you guys know that I love talking to other nonprofits, especially when they're doing something for our young people. I think that's automatically, it's just amazing. And my guest here today is not only going to tell us about this nonprofit, but she's one of my celebrity chefs. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself because I do not want to mess up your name. Go ahead, baby.
You are so sweet. Everyone listening, my name is Alana Gazal. I'm here wearing my traveling youth hat. I am the vice president this year for the traveling youth. I'm very excited to be one of your celebrity chefs, by the way.
I
And
know.
you're a celebrity as far as I'm concerned.
I don't know about that. I don't know. Do you think so? I don't know because I get in mama bear mode. People don't like that.
Oh, every celebrity's got a mama bear side.
Okay, then. So we have 10 celebrity chefs.
There
If
we
you'd
go.
like to sit at Roxy's table, please go to givecarebag.com and purchase your ticket.
There
Mama
it is.
bears are allowable though because they're protecting their offspring.
I protect my community. There we
Right,
go.
and your community. Yes.
We're glad you're here.
Oh, I'm glad you're here. So I'm just to let everybody know she's a force to be reckoned with. So my other chefs, watch out. Go ahead.
So, what would you like to know about the traveling youth?
Everything. When did it start? How did it I know a little bit, but I don't think my audience has ever heard about it. So I want you to just go deep, let them know because there's somebody out there. I travel. I love to travel. I've been to numerous countries, and there is nothing more important than traveling. There's nothing like my wow moment for me was walking in the middle of the Sixtine Chapel. To me, that was my wow moment. I loved it. My next wow moment was climbing up the Eiffel Tower because I refused. Second time I took the elevator. First time I walked, and it's surprising what you can see when you walk. A lot of people don't know what you see when you walk up the Eiffel Tower. Then walking through the ruins of Rome, you know, being on a gondola on the water. So traveling for me is just amazing. I love it. And so when I heard about this, I was like, ooh, I love it. When I hear other nonprofits have trips for children, I've sponsored some, because I believe in it. Children learn by traveling. It's more, I talk to some kids that live in our Treasure Coast area, and I'm like, oh, how do you like the beach? I've never been to the beach. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I know the beach. Why don't you know the beach?
Right.
So we had the museum, we had the children's museum here a couple weeks ago, and they're having the King Tut exhibit, and different families, depending on what you have, can go free. And people don't know that. So giving this information out, I think it's imperative. So I want you to just go in depth and let them know what's, because we can do my commercial at the end, so we're good if we have to, because I want them to know. I think it's important. And if someone out there is listening and they say, I want to help, this is their opportunity. Because like I said, this show is Careology. It's about caring, the science of it. It's just not about care back. So we don't know who's out there listening that say, you know what, I really want to help. Tell me more. So go ahead.
All right. Well, for those of you who do not already know the Traveling Youth, we are what we call a baby organization here on the Treasure Coast of Florida. We currently we currently have already sent 7 students. And let me back up for a second. We were established in 2020, at the end of 2020. So very much like you,
Mhm.
we were created due to the pandemic, right?
Mhm.
We saw a need, and we also found ourselves with the kind of leg time where our our funder, our founder, Lucy McGuire, who you
Mhm.
probably know,
Yes.
she spent the year of 2020 really putting together the bones to shape this into an organization that could be launched by the end of
And
2020.
not only that, she was traveling.
She
She
was.
was
She
traveling.
was.
Yes.
So, this organization came about as a result of her being inspired by her own trip that she took abroad.
Mhm.
She had lost a family member and found the means and desire to really travel and clear her head and establish for herself some higher level of meaning and
Mhm.
some higher level of purpose. And the time she spent over there was so impactful that we were friends before she went, and she came back and she was sharing about this experience of just broadening her perception of her own capacity and her own skill set and her own independence and her own self-awareness. And all of those were really heavy ringers for me. I had very similar experiences when I had the opportunity and the blessing to study abroad, and not study abroad but travel abroad. And so, as she was mulling this over, she ended up establishing the Traveling Youth as we know it. And the purpose and the mission of it is to provide opportunities for underprivileged youth between the ages of 18 and 25 to have a scholarship opportunity to travel abroad, spend a month in another country in that immersive learning environment, and really be able to get to know themselves outside of the community environment. And I know you work with a lot of the youth around here that have never really experienced life, even outside of Fort Pierce. They've probably
In
never left.
in Fort Pierce, in Port St. Lucie, they just haven't left.
They've just never left. And when you have never left, you have no concept of how much there really is out
How
there,
much rich culture.
how much
Yes.
opportunity there is to learn, how much what we know can actually impact and better someone else's life. So, the opportunity to bring this to young people was something that struck a chord within me, which is why I joined the board and why I've been such a deeply rooted member of this organization. We're working on our 4th year now. We're in 2024, so we've had a full 3 years.
All right.
As a result of that, we've been able to send 7 students abroad already.
So let me ask you, I'm just gonna kind of, it's a talk show,
Sure.
so I gotta cut it. Um, what qualifies a youth to be able to get into this program?
Well, that's a great question. Right now, we're serving students on the Treasure Coast.
Okay.
Our goal long term is to be able to expand through the state of Florida, eventually through the country. We would love to see this eventually become an international
Mhm.
opportunity. And so that is the growth trajectory that long term we see as our goals. For the time being, we are serving the students here. Qualifiers include, we're gearing towards college students
Okay.
and trade program students. So this is
Okay.
not only for kids in college, this
Okay.
is also for people looking to better their lives that are
Yes.
going a different route.
Mhm.
Most of them are brought to us by one of our mentors, and we have partnerships all over town where people know about our organization and they go, you know what, this youth is a great fit for your program. So most of our getting out has been through either social media or word of
Mouth,
mouth or
which is the best. You can't go
right.
wrong with word of mouth. You
Right.
cannot.
And as we get deeper and deeper roots in the community and more people come to know who we are, our mentorship lines are growing. Adults are getting involved, really wanting to level up that mentorship experience through this ultimately leadership program as these young people develop themselves into, the next iteration of where they're growing and evolving to.
Do you have a waiting list?
We do not have a waiting list
Okay.
at this moment, but we are currently accepting applications through our website, thetravelingyouth.org, and anyone who meets the basic parameters can go. They can fill out the application, and then they can be put through processing. So we look at things like what are your goals? What do you think this could add value to in your life? And so we put them through, kind of a stringent questionnaire. And if they make it through the application and the questionnaire, we meet in person, we establish a partnership, and we invite them to come join us and volunteer among us. That gives us an opportunity to develop a relationship with them, develop a mentorship partnership, and really identify which are the students and young people, really, that are a good fit together
To travel.
right?
That's
Because when you're
important.
traveling in close
Oh,
quarters,
yes.
things can get hairy. So the personalities at play, the desires for growth at play, those all factor heavily into the students that we choose to offer this scholarship to. And so with that amount of time that they invest in the program, we invest right back into them.
I love that. What's the greatest, no, not that's not the right question. What have you seen through the traveling youth that the young people that have come in have traveled and come back? What is one of the most youth that have kind of stood out to you that you see, wow, because of this, whoa? Because there has
Oh,
to be a wow.
there is a wow. There's actually two wows, but
Go ahead
the
and tell. We got
the
time.
the wow that really struck a chord with me. One of our young people, they came back, and part of this whole process, we actually have measurables that determine what is the growth that occurs between the start of this process and the end of this process after they return. It's called an EQI assessment, and it measures leadership skills. It measures the self-awareness, growth development, independence, confidence. It has so many different factors that I'm not really qualified to share all the pieces of, but the measurability of that was really intense. And one of the students who came back was sitting with me, and we were in a lull in one of our volunteering opportunities. And he shared with me, he said, I'm 18 years old. I'm in college, and I am living with my family, and I'm ashamed that I'm living with my family, and I'm ashamed that I'm struggling, to really find my purpose. And even though I'm doing all of the things that our social structure says are the right things for my age bracket, I really am not. I'm not proud of it because I don't feel like I've found myself yet in it. And, at the point that he went on this trip and he returned, he was sharing with me, he said the biggest takeaway that he took from this entire month abroad was that, one of the components is that we are partnered with the Czech Republic University in Prague. And so our students were actually taking classes with the other students internationally. So they were
Wow.
developing these international partnerships and these friendships, and they were exploring the campus, and then they were exploring, the world beyond the campus, of course, with us. And he came back and he shared with me, he said, sitting in a classroom with a 22-year-old and a 25-year-old who both became very dear international friends, who both expressed that one of them was still living with their family. One of them was just moving out from their family and into the college space. And neither of those individuals had yet figured out what they wanted to do with the rest of their life. And so his big takeaway was that he came home from this amazing experience feeling like he was not missing the boat. He was not behind the times. He was exactly where he was
Needed to
supposed to
be.
be, doing exactly what he was supposed to be doing, and him not having it all figured out yet was okay. And the amount of peace that brought him brought a confidence to this kid that blew me away, because I remembered this kid before he went on this trip, and to see the difference in his demeanor when he returned, and to see the level of peace that he had, not having everything figured out, that's something that our culture could learn from.
Did you tell him we don't have everything everything
I
figured out
sure
yet?
did. I said, my God, I'm in my 30s, and if you think I have it all figured out, you are incorrect, sir.
Well, I'm not gonna go and say a number, but I don't have it all figured out either. It
No.
takes time. I don't. I think it takes time. Cliff, you got it all figured out?
No.
No. So you know what? But I love that. I love that. I don't think I love traveling, and that's something I do. And I think I don't think individuals understand how important it is. One, it's important for your growth. It's important just for your overall. But when you come back on American soil, you realize how good you have it.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of crap going on right now, and sometimes it's not easy to say I'm a proud American right now with what's going on in our country. It's not easy to. I used to be able to say that growing up, and for those of you who are listening and talking, oh my God, Roxy, how can you say that? Don't call in because I'm not taking any calls. That's my opinion. It's my show. Not proud with what's going on here, but for our youth that are traveling and are going out and are coming back, they realize how good they have it.
They realize how good they have it. They also realize the areas of opportunity where we
Yeah.
have dramatically
Mhm.
under underfulfilled on promises of the
Mhm.
American dream.
Yeah.
There are so many aspects where we really have done well
Mhm.
as a society and as a nation, but there are also areas of tremendous lack. And most of those
Fail.
are
I call it failure, but you can call it lack. Go-
most of those areas are areas that we can do better.
yes, we
And
can.
a huge component of doing something better is first acknowledging that we don't have it
Mhm.
together.
Yeah.
So their level of awareness and perspective, bringing that back, it also comes with a sense of purpose that
Mhm.
now that they know where we might be missing the boat, they want to have that impact. And
Mm.
so watching that play out in these young people as they move forward with their lives after coming back home
Mm.
and being able to bring this perspective to a community or being able to join or rejoin a workforce with a greater sense of empowerment and self-awareness and recognizing I need to be able to communicate what's not working in order to make change.
I love that.
That's huge.
Let me ask you something. Other than Prague, where are some other countries that you go to?
Well, we have traveled to Prague. We have traveled to Germany. They did a short visit to Budapest, and they
Mm.
also did a visit to Istanbul in Turkey.
Cool.
Yeah, and that was our 2023 trip, which was really exciting. We had another student who came back who just pulled on my heartstrings, and she came back with a sense of purpose and a desire to become more involved in our organization directly as a mentor because she had so many friends who, when she had come back, she said, boy, they would have really benefited from this. And they were too afraid to fill out the application.
Application.
They didn't feel like they were underprivileged enough, or they didn't feel like they had what it took to leave for a
Mhm.
month. They didn't feel like they had what it took to be independent enough to be safe
Mhm.
elsewhere. And to watch her come back and go, well, I know how to navigate myself through public transit now. I know how to communicate with
You
people
s-
who we don't speak the same
but you
language.
said something. The fact that those young people could think of that means that you're ready.
Right.
That's the thing. If you're thinking, "Oh, I don't think I'm unprivileged enough." So the first thing is, what is underprivilege? You can have all the money in the world, but still you are lacking the fundamentals of just togetherness, just community, So
Communication,
communication.
impact.
It doesn't matter. People always misinterpret that word and just think underprivilege is okay. What's in your bank account? No, because you have some really stupid people, stupid rich people. We're not gonna call any names on the show, but you
Ignorant is the word we're looking
ignorant is the
for.
word,
And
right?
ignorance is one of the big things our organization is seeking to cure
Yes.
within young people. And I think the nature of immersive learning is a huge dose of medicine in
Hmm.
that regard. And the awareness that comes with that is powerful when it comes home because it's contagious.
Yeah.
You have one student go on a trip like this and come home and suddenly everyone in their friend group, everyone in their family, everyone in the community directly surrounding them is directly impacted by that one individual's
Hmm.
growth. And I want to see that trajectory continue to snowball in our
And
community. We need it.
it will be amazing. So, just for those who don't travel, our neighbors to the north of us which is Canada for anyone that didn't catch
I
on.
love you, Canada.
Yes, I love Canada. Until our son is out there and grandbaby, so you know I love that. When you go to Canada and the stoplight says "Do not walk," so let me just go back a little bit. I'm a native New Yorker, so when that light says "Don't walk, walk," we really don't pay attention to that. But in Canada, when it says don't walk and not one car is coming, you don't walk. I went to take a step. My son pulled me back, like, where you going? I'm like, there's no car. He's like, but it says red. There's not a piece of gum paper on the floor, not a piece of tissue paper on the floor, and this is in Toronto. This is the cap in the city. Everything is booming in Ontario. And it is just, they have a homeless population,
They
which is
do.
very sad. They have a very wide homeless population, but it's clean. You understand?
As a
Certain
matter of
parts are
fact,
clean.
I had an experience in Canada, which was, by the way, a wonderful, wonderful experience for me. That was one of my examples of immersive learning in my own experience. And I was traveling to Montreal. I was visiting with family, and I had never experienced the nature of life underground, which I thought was very, very interesting.
The basement.
Oh yeah, but in the traveling above ground, I noticed the homeless population during the day, and it was incredibly intense, and it was painful for me to watch because I feel so connected to that group, and yet. I went out in the evening because I'm a dancer. I'm a tango dancer. So I went and found myself a malanga, and I was on my way to and fro. And I asked my taxi driver. I said, "Where's all the homeless?" Because they were out and about all day long. There was not a soul, Roxy. There was nobody sleeping on a sidewalk. There was nobody sleeping under the overpass. And I was startled because I expected, as we
see
do,
it, yeah.
we expected to see more in the evening than we do in the daytime. And you know what he told me? He told me that if one thing Canada has done right, they have really gone above and beyond to make sure that they have resources for that population. That resource has tokens for their showers, they have tokens for meals, they have places to sleep that are safe and off the streets. And as a result of that, their amount of I guess theft and the kind of crime that comes with desperation was dramatically lower than the United States as a result of meeting the basic needs of a human being. And that kind of perspective, I mean, when you have it on across the pond, when you have it in Europe, when you have it in Prague, I was asking questions like that because I was curious. What's their homeless population like? What's their crime rate like? What is the closeness to
She
Ukraine?
touched on the mama bear subject, didn't she?
There's so much about that had me curious because I wondered who is doing more and who is doing better and who can we learn from, because it's not about who's failing, it's about
Listen, we
who's
can
succeeding
learn.
and how do we copycat them.
So we can learn from everyone, because everyone that knows that I've been doing this show, how many, I love animals. Everyone, whoever knows me knows I love animals. I have them on my computer, I have them everywhere. I love pit bulls. How many animal shelters do we have on the Treasure
Way
Coast?
more than humans.
We don't have and the thing is, so everyone keeps telling me, oh, we have shelters for mom and children, for abuse. So those are targeted resources.
There's huge gaps in that.
That's big gaps in that. A shelter is where a man, a woman, a young man from the ages of 11 and up, and any children can go to. The places that we have here on the Treasure Coast, and I'm not going to single out any name, I'm just going to give you facts. The shelters that we have are for abused women. Yes, we need those. We have places for moms and children, but any child under the age from 11, 11 is, we're touching the border on 11, but 12, 13 and up, they're considered a man. They're considered, by criminal activities, they can be charged as an adult. They look at them as they're at the age where they can rape. So those young men, 11, 12, 13, cannot go in a shelter with their mom when we have something for women and children. So let me just help all of you who are sitting there rolling your eyes. That's not a shelter. A shelter is where you can go in with your family and be out of the element, whether it's sun, rain, snow, wind. It's not just when the temperature hits 40 degrees you decide to open up a shelter. I'm glad you do, because we need to protect everyone. But if you need to open it up when the temperature drops by 40 something, that means you need to have it open because you know you have a population. That's just common sense. I'm on a tangent right now, just excuse me. And because you mentioned it, no, we're not breaking, Cliff. And that is why I get so angry, because we have the resources. We're constantly building, and there are people that are suffering. There are teachers living in hotel. You have nurses suffering that can hardly pay their bills. I have a teacher that works at one of our charter schools. Roxy, I'm about to lose my house because she could only work part-time. And I have another one that's living in a hotel. Roxy, I just couldn't afford the rent because they're going up to $2,600 for a three-bedroom. You know,
Oh, it's a tremendous point of
it
frustration to
is.
have those kind of resources and to have as many empty buildings as we have. Don't even
Oh,
get me
don't
started.
get me started.
The
We're gonna have to have her back. Cliff is like, please take a break. Please take a break. No, we're not. In
but
a minute.
there's but as a result of these
Uh-huh.
experiences, being able to empower these young people with
To see
ideas of
that,
how other people
yes,
are successfully solving
yeah.
these problems in
That's
their
that's our
communities,
next future.
they're coming home and they're
That's it.
going, let's
I
get to work.
I can fix it. I love it. Cliff, we're gonna come back, and we're Cliff is like, yes, she's gonna go for a break. Cause you know what, we gotta take a break. Cause my sponsors that sponsor my show make it easier that I don't have to hit the ground pounding on doors and begging for people to sponsor my
For
show.
cooling down period.
And for cooling down period. So this is Roxy with Elena. We're talking about the Traveling Youth. Great organization. If you want to get in touch with them, we're going to give you the number and how you can get in touch right when we come back from these important sponsors. Thanks, Cliff.
Is your business back open 100%? Having trouble hiring a staff? Let WPSL, WSTU, and La Gigante help you fill those jobs in English and Spanish. Call us 340-1590 for details.
Thinking of building your next home or renovating? Come see us at Grozer Builders. We will create a home suited for your lifestyle. With years of experience means we give you a complete professional service from a dream to a concept. You will get the best results, best value, best quality is what you get from Grozer Builders. Visit us at grozerbuilders.com. You deserve better. You deserve Grozer. Create custom business signage that customers can't miss or resist. Let Design a Sign in Port St. Lucie help you get the job done right. Over 80 years combined experience. Get it right the first time. Call 772-337-4027 and tell them Roxy said to call. Remember, call 772-337-4020. Design a Sign in Port St. Lucie.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.
We now return to Careology, the science of caring. Once again, here's your host, the one and only Roxy Brown.
Woo! He said we needed a cool down moment, so woo-sa.
Worked, huh?
Sometimes it works, but you know what? When we have these conversations, one thing I always told you, I'm not gonna fluff you, I'm not gonna rub you down, I'm not gonna make you feel good. I'm just gonna tell you how it is. You have a choice, you keep it on, or you just turn it down. You turn it to the left side and click it off. That's your choice. But I would hope you stay on, because what we're saying is real. We're not giving you any fluff. We're telling you what's in the community and how we do it. So what I do in Care Bag impacts the youth that go and travel, because when they go and travel and they get a different perspective of what's going on in other countries, they come back now and they're at that age, they're at that little peak moment where if they're in school, you know what, I want to change this major. I think I can do that better. And they come up with brilliant ideas, brilliant than what I'm doing, brilliant than what you're doing, because this is our next generation. And when they see things in other countries and it's going so well, or they say, whoa, if they did that and changed that, but whatever they're thinking, they're learning and they're bringing back. So this is how you got that woosah moment. It just kind of comes together because everything we do is intertwined. That's why I love agencies. It's intertwined, we're learning, and we get better. So before we even go off and talk about something else, give a number or a website that they can go and learn, or if they say, you know what, wow, I really want to help a youth. How much does it cost? Let's do that. How much does it cost for a youth to go on the month program? Approximately.
Well, and approximately is important because we know how the prices are changing and
Yes.
becoming incredibly intense. So
Gas is up.
we're fundraising for our 2025 trip that we have slated at
You
the
just had
present
a
time.
fundraiser over the weekend.
We sure
Oh,
did.
how did it go?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. You know, we had, it was called the Family Fun Exploration Day. It was our fourth annual. We had the privilege of partnering with the city of Stewart, which has been a tremendous partnership. They were also doing a water fest simultaneously
Okay.
and their egg stroll, which enabled us to get in front of between 400 and 500 families this
Wow.
past weekend. And, you know, most of them are the middle school age, a couple of them high school age, a lot of them elementary school age. And that's an age of curiosity, right?
Yes.
That's an age of empowerment being very, very easy because they take the world in a very bite-sized manner.
Yeah.
So we had it organized in such a way where all of our supporters, local small businesses, vendors, they came out and in force, and we had a round-the-world experience. And so the students and kids who came through with their families, they were offered a passport that had all of these small businesses on them that were participating, and each of those businesses was representing a country that they jived with.
I love that.
Right.
I like that.
And so as our students took their passport through each of these places, you know, of course, their families got to know the businesses and organizations that are heavily involved in our community, which is a wonderful thing. But they also were learning about that country. They were learning, how does their water work? Is there something specific? And we actually had a fact from each country about something to do with their water resources. And, you know, some of them were great. Some of them were really thought-provoking. And they were starting conversations as these families were walking away. And I think just really triggering that curiosity is the biggest takeaway that our kids could possibly have.
Of course.
And so that was a tremendously impactful event. And, you know, of course, again, we're a baby organization. So some people are only just hearing about us for the first time as we continue to
Look,
grow.
I'm 7 years old, and some people right now are listening and still hearing about us. So
Right.
we're in the same boat.
So to your question, and just backtracking to that, as of the last time we looked at the numbers, it was costing us about $7,500 to send each student. So to anyone listening who wants to be a part of this greater impact and really helping these young people who are, again, between 18 and 25, that is an age where we don't have so many responsibilities, that we really can attend to our passions, our desires, and really honing in on our purpose and what we want to do with our life before we have so many other
Yes.
commitments and so many other things that we're responsible for as life continues, right? So to impact those people, and if you want to get involved and you're listening, thetravelingyouth.org is where you can go, whether you want to donate your time, whether you want to donate funds, whether you want to get involved on a deeper level, please call us. Let's communicate. Let's figure out how we can partner on a national and international level to really make sure that these students have an amazing experience that they bring home.
Or just write a check and just round it out to $8,000.
Amen.
Because we have
I
church.
receive it.
Look, we have church here too. Pentecostal, we'll have church here because it's important. It's important. It's like I have a listener in there in Holland, and they're like, Roxy, wow, you know, I just wish you can just come. I'm like, I'd love to. So
I'd love to
if-
send our babies to
Yeah,
Holland.
so if she's listening, and I'll find out if she's listening, and you know, any doors that can open, we want to give this. So how many youth in your group do you try and send at one time?
Well, our 2023 trip, we sent 7. Of
Okay.
course, we would love to send more students each time. Of course, the cost of sending them goes up between each of our fundraising cycles. So our hope is to have at least 7 more. I would love to see us get to 10. I would love
I
for
was just gonna round
2025
it
to
up,
be
round
10
it at 10.
students. That would be amazing.
Listen, you have to put it out there. You have to receive it.
We're gonna send 10 students in 2025.
That's it. We're gonna
How
send
about
10
that?
students. That's how you have to do it. You just gotta put it. You can't. I hope. Nope. We are sending 10 students in 2025.
Thank you for doing that.
You're
we
very
have to,
welcome.
We have to manifest
You have to put it in the atmosphere. If you don't, then there's doubt, and we just leave it alone. So if anyone at the sound of our voice, anywhere, and you have the means, not everyone has the means and ability, and we know that. And you guys always hear me say that you might not like the homeless, you might not like people suffering, I don't know why, but if this sits on your heart and you say, you know what, I really would like to give to our future. I would really like to benefit a young person that can go ahead. If you've traveled, you know how. Now, you're only going to understand this if you've traveled.
Oh, yes.
That's the key. Some people are sitting there, well, I don't know what it does. You haven't gone nowhere, so we need you to just sit down and be
Well,
quiet.
or we need you to get out there. We
Yeah.
need you to get off your butt and we need you to hit the next county and then the next county after
And
that.
keep going.
And the farther you go, the more you're going to recognize that the farther into elsewhere you go, the more
It's
friendly
great.
you have to be.
You have to.
You have to suddenly look at people in the eye
And say hi. When
You
someone
have to
says
say
good
hello.
morning, when someone says good morning, you have to say good morning.
Absolutely.
That's right. So
and that's how we get from here to there. That's how we
Yes.
learn about resources in an unfamiliar place. And that's how we really develop into a person that we didn't know we could be
That's
is when we're
true.
out of our
Comfort zone.
So even if you've never traveled, I challenge you, get out of your comfort zone this week.
Yeah.
Go do it this week. Drive somewhere you've never been. Go visit a place you've never been. Talk to someone that you wouldn't normally talk to.
and it's fun. And if somebody says, "Oh, I don't know what to say," this is what I tell everyone.
You'll shock yourself with what comes out of your
Yeah,
mouth.
you'll be surprised. Everyone wears some crazy T-shirts. I do. My T-shirts are always conversation starters. Comment on a T-shirt somebody says. Someone's always saying, "Oh my God, I love your T-shirt," and I go, "Yes, here you go." You never know. That one smile, that one hello could prevent and help so much. You don't know.
You
You
don't
don't
know.
know. That person could be contemplating so many different things, could be going through so many different things. Just saying hello and a smile, or just commenting on your hat or your whatever, your shoes, your glasses. You don't know, and that me, I got no problem talking to anyone. But if you do, and someone looks at you, just say hi. Sometimes people stare at you because they love your shirt or your hair is nice. It doesn't mean anything negative. It could be something so positive. Just give a smile or just say good morning. You'd be surprised. You might meet your best friend. You might meet your mate. You don't know people. Just say hello.
It's funny you say that. So we had another one of our students, and I volunteered with several of them. They've come home and they now want to mentor the next generation of
Okay.
these students experiencing this, right? And one of them said to me, because we were chatting about that, about the level of friendliness that has kind of changed with their
Yeah.
comfortability level. They're like, before I traveled to Prague, I didn't look at the vehicles at the stoplights next to me. And now I find myself looking out the window and smiling at other people, and they will go from a scowl to a smile
yeah.
after this moment of confusion.
Because they're like, what are you doing? What do you
they
want? Yeah.
How funny. We don't want anything
Say,
from the driver next
nope.
to us. So, I don't know about you, but when I have somebody smile at me unexpectedly, I find myself smiling back and
Yeah.
it brightens my whole mood, my whole day. And so I told them, how many people do you think that your just smile has impacted positively since you came home? It was like an aha for them.
Yeah. Well, if you drive beside me in my vehicle and my windows are down because they're very heavily tinted and they're down and you look at me, I blow people a kiss.
Ooh, I want to blow a kiss.
Listen, I get the biggest reactions. I get the biggest smile. Sometimes I have the whole car, the whole truck laughing. Laughter is joyful. Joyful makes you live longer. It makes your day, your heart beats better. You'll be surprised. I had somebody one time give me the wave.
Ooh.
And when he gave me the wave, I went, mwah. And he was like, he's like, wait a minute, I just gave you the wave. And I'm like, no, no, you didn't. I blew you a kiss back. It's your reaction. You could only get a reaction, a negative reaction, by a negative reaction.
Well, and everybody measures change and impact on a large scale level.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks about the everyday
little
little
stuff.
stuff. Hold the door for somebody today. Smile at somebody today. You don't have to buy the coffee for the person behind you, because I guarantee you, if they're in a Starbucks, they can afford their coffee.
That's true.
But how many people's lives can you turn around and make their day a little brighter because you held the door open because you noticed they were directly behind you?
Yeah.
It's
Or
a
see a
huge deal.
veteran and know it's a veteran and just say thank you. It's the little things. And as we learn them, I don't want to digress from the traveling youth because I know that's important, but everything we're talking about is how young people get to learn and what they bring back. And believe it or not, in other countries, they are very, very friendly. And when they hear your accent, so I remember traveling to England. I was the first flight after 9/11 to go to England. The amount of kisses that I got when I got off the airport, I remember my husband looking at me like, do you know any of these people? I said, not a one. But it was, they announced it This is the first flight from America.
The spirit of it.
Just the spirit of it. And when I went, the amount of people that were coming to me and grabbing me and mwah, mwah, each side of the cheek. I went into the coffee shop and I wanted a coffee. And when they heard me say, "Are you next?" I said, "It's me." "Oh, you want an Americana?" I said, "Okay, I'm having an Americana." Listen, people are very friendly and traveling. Now this is years ago. I'm talking about over 20 years ago. And I still remember this to today. It's because the reaction that I got in such a time as this traveling, it was just so pronounced that little things you can remember. I can remember from the time I got out of the airplane, walked through Heathrow, and came out. I remember everything that happened because people made such an impact. And that's the impact we're making on the lives of these young people.
Well, and how huge, because I really feel like as a society, we need to outgrow the notion that traveling is a luxury. We need to outgrow that concept
It's a
because
learning. It's
that
learning.
it's essential. It's
Yes.
necessary. And until we really have a perspective that goes beyond our community, we don't know what we don't know. And ignorance does not change the world.
No, it doesn't. And such that opening up is a beautiful thing. And believe it or not, some of the greatest things in this world, some of the wonders of this world, you need to travel to see. You know, some of the wonders of this world, some of the ways we can learn, we need to travel. And and it stays with you forever. That's the thing about traveling.
Well, and Americans, I've noticed the stats are staggering. How many Americans have never even left their own state? They're born and they die in the same state, and they've never left it. And we have 50 of them, let alone
Yeah.
the rest of a beautiful planet that has so much to offer. The people are so much to offer. The natural wonders of this world are tremendous. The historical significance of so many places is missed by people who've never even heard of what they've never seen.
I'm glad you said that because I'm just going to do a plug. For anyone that has children in VPK, kindergarten, first and second grade, SeaWorld gives free passes. Only thing you have to do is go and sign up each year. You have to go before, I think it's before July, so you still have time. You need to go and you need to sign up for free passes and take your baby to see sea lions, to see whales, the orcas, to see dolphins. I mean, it's such a good place for them to just learn and to just see so many beautiful animals. And people don't know. Just like we said, the museum has a King Tut, even though it is a replica. But to see this in its beauty, if you can't go to Egypt, you get to see this. To go ahead and see animals in their glory and for them to have fun, children need to step out. And so many places offer things free.
Yeah.
Sometimes free is good. And no, not all free is good, but this free for learning is good. And you're right. We need to leave. The same way you want to go to concerts and this and that don't enrich you in a lot of ways. Open up your children's minds and get them ready. And for any young person that's hearing between ages of 18 and 25, if this is something that appeals to you, please, 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 please go to
thetravelingyouth.org.
thetravelingyouth.org and find out what your passion is. Find out, where you can learn or just call. Just sometimes being inquisitive can open. Maybe 2025 might not be your year, but maybe next year. If you're 17 and this appeals to you, reach out, learn that maybe when it's time, you can go ahead because we're setting our goal for 10.
Yeah.
My goal is 10. I don't know what yours is. Mine is 10.
We want international partnerships. We want to know who out there is looking to partner with us here to have this go both ways.
Yeah.
How can we grow into that? And, we want to become so much larger than we are, but it's got to be a matter of baby steps. And we've got to show that this growth trajectory is consistent and is measurable in order to get those high level dollars to really launch this into a national and an international organization.
So let me ask you something. When is your time to travel? What time of the month do you pick to travel?
Well, we choose to operate within our school schedule, right? And so we're navigating between our school schedule ending for the year and Prague's because that's our educational partner, right,
okay.
internationally. So our trip I believe, was in June.
Okay.
And June was a sweet spot because our schooling had just ended.
In May.
Their schooling was still occurring, but getting ready to end. So
Okay. Mm-hmm.
they, I believe, go a little bit later than us, which is what enabled our students to be able to do, a summer one, if you
Right.
will, experience at their campus.
So just to let everyone know, so because I lived abroad a couple of years, we have the shortest school system.
How interesting.
We have the shortest school system. You see why I got 4 minutes left before my show was done. You see how we did, but we touched on so much. I'm going to give you the last 3 minutes. Is there anything that you wanted to say that we might have forgotten to touch on?
I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's supporting you, everyone who's listening right now, looking to learn more about what we are doing here in our area and as a nation, and with eyes set to broader horizons. I want to thank everybody listening today because your interest is the launching pad for the success of this.
Oh, well, we couldn't have asked for anything else. I won't ask my engineer for his comment because he won't get here quick enough. But I just wanted to say, we've learned so much about the traveling youth. So thank you for coming on and sharing that with us. And anyone within the sound of your ears said, you know what, I remember what it was like. And I'd like to bless someone. If you don't have it all, the little you have, please, travelingyouths.org. It's very important. And we just want to thank you because you're blessing and you're opening so many minds on so many different levels and letting people find your course, wherever that course may be. We hope that they find it through the traveling youth. So that's good. Well, we thank you, Alana, for coming on. And Lucy, I remember when she started traveling and what this has come out to be. So this is awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the platform. We appreciate you.
You're welcome. Anytime, anytime. So Cliff, how much time I got left?
Well, you could take 1 minute or two.
1 minute or two. So I can only take one. But what I wanted to say is to everyone listening, thank you. We appreciate you. Miles is going to be back next week as my co-host. And he helps me kind of rest his voice a little bit on a Monday. I have a big weekend coming up. So if anyone would like to take part and just see what we do, please come out. It's going to be beautiful at Treasure Coast Lexus. We're going to be starting at 12 o'clock, and we would love to have you. And for you to learn a little bit more about CareBag, it is not a fundraiser. It is a friend raiser. So again, from me, Alana, and from our beautiful engineer, Handsome Cliff, we want to say thank you so much. This is the beginning of your week. What a great way to start your week off. Have a wonderful week. And this is Roxy with Careology at WPSL 1590. Have a great day, guys. Be safe.
You've been listening to Careology, the science of caring, presented by CareBag. Details, why don't you watch some of our YouTube videos? Go to WPSLTV.com. Binge watch you some Careology. And remember, this is WPSL, Port St. Lucie, the top of the Treasure Coast.